will have us speak to Education MEC Donald Grant, and he's ready to chat to us about that coastal province's results being at 85.1% pass rate. It's marginally up from the 82.8% in the previous year. That's how the students have fared for 2013. A very good morning to you, MEC Donald Grant. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to your viewers.
Congratulations on that increase. To what do you attribute the hike?
I think it's sustainable and systemic improvement. What we're concentrating on is the numbers, writing and passing. And I'm delighted to say that our retention rate is continuously improving. Also, the quality of our improvement in our bachelor's passes is fantastic, because more than 40%, 40.9% are passed with bachelor's passes, which means that 4 out of every 10 children who wrote in the Western Cape can access university education.
That's the point that you alluded to a little bit earlier while you and I were just extending and exchanging niceties off air, that although you are fourth on the list of performing provinces after the Free State, which is top performing, Northwest and Gauteng, you're sitting at number 4, but you've asked us to pay special attention to the quality and not the quantity of the pass rate.
Yes, it's quality, and it's also about retention rates. And you've got to look further, Yanda. You've got to look at the subject choices, because mathematics and physical science, economics, accountancy, all the subjects which need to support and grow our economy so that we can deal with poverty and unemployment, are critical in the education sector. But let me also say well done to the rest of the country. It's good that we're on an upward trend, but we need to start looking at what's behind the numbers, the retention rates, the quality, and we've got a lot more work to do in the future.
MEC, any indication as to how many of those youngsters who started grade 1 actually made it up to matric or fell by the wayside? I know there are issues of child laborers and farms in the Western Cape, for instance. There have been protests where some children ended up not going to school. Any indication as to how many of those who began with the class of 2013 all those years back actually made it to matric?
And if you look at our SABC figures and the national figures from grade 1 to grade 12, I think the national figures around about 46 or 47%. We're at a 57% retention rate. And if you look at the FET phase from grades 10 through to 12, our retention rate is 52.1%, which has increased by 15% over the last 5 years. We've set ourselves targets for retention rates in our 10-year strategic plan of 70% by 2019. And it's going to take time to build quality into the system through the foundation, the intermediate and GET phases before you get to the FET phase. So these issues are complex, but what you need to do is to embed quality in the system in order to have sustainable outcomes.
I hate to forecast what we can expect next year and looking forward to the class of 2014, especially when we're still basking in the glory of the class of 2013. But of the problems that you have detected, what are some of the solutions that you hope to fix or to put into place to make sure that we see an even bigger increase at this time next year?
It's about trends over time. It's not a year by year. And I'm sure that if you look at our ANA results and our independent systemic testing in the Western Cape, those are the indicators that are going to give an indication whether the medium to long-term health of the system as a whole, whether it is improving or not. And I'm confident that in the Western Cape, we are laying those foundations for later years.
No doubt issues of politics and social instability, poverty, etc. also playing a huge role in the lives of learners and whether or not their environment is conducive towards furthering their education. 2013 has been a particularly difficult year. I mean, we saw the likes of protests taking a more dirty form, if I can call it that. Socially, just looking back, how do you think the class of 2013 managed to overcome all those social ills and persist?
They've done exceptionally well. In the Western Cape, we have issues such as gangsterism and substance abuse, which make life more difficult for us here in the Western Cape compared to other provinces. But you're right about the whole social structure. You know, the lack of father figures in households and dysfunctional families are a major problem for our learners. But what we need to do is to support our learners and to give them opportunities by making sure that they perform to their capabilities in education so that they can get employment and add value to our country.
Thank you so much. I really thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Western Cape Education MEC Donald Grant, my thanks to you again. Let's take a quick